Honey has been found in ancient Egyptian tombs and been used as a medical treatment since the times of the ancient Mesopotamians. There have even been 15,000-year-old cave paintings found depicting ancient humans collecting beehives. 1/3 of the food eaten by Americans is either directly or indirectly derived from honeybee pollination. The National Agricultural Statistics Service in 2021, the statistical branch of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, stated that there are 305,000 honeybee colonies in Florida and that they generated over $20 million in profit. Honey is a result of the health of the larger overall ecosystem, so it's important that we understand where it comes from and how it's made so we can understand the consequences that it would have on our environment if we were to lose bees. Today I will explain how it gets from the field to the hive, how it is turned into honey, and then how we harvest it. So let's start by finding out what it's made of. In their book titled Honey, published in 2021, beekeepers Howland Blackiston and Marina Marchese wrote that the first step is for worker bees to gather the ingredients. The first ingredient is pollen, which they gather from flowering plants, such as these, using pollen baskets located on their back legs that stores and transports the pollen. Although it isn't directly used as an ingredient, it still ends up in the honey and adds to the nutritional value of it. The second ingredient bees gather is nectar, and they gather this from sweet-smelling flowers using their long straw-like tongue to suck the honey up into a special organ known as the honey stomach. They can actually carry more than their body weight in nectar. On its website, last updated November 26, 2016, NASA, a government organization, states that bees fly 20 miles per hour, so they're pretty quick. The next step is for them to transport the ingredients they've gathered back to the hive, where other worker bees will take over and sort the nectar and pollen into specially marked cells. Once in these cells, the bees will add their saliva to the nectar, which contains special enzymes that allow for it to turn into honey, and then they fan the cells using their wings to lower the water content, turning the nectar thick and syrupy into what we know as honey. Then to the pollen, they add their saliva with the enzymes and nectar, which ferments the pollen into a protein-rich bee bread, which is the food that the bees eat. So now that the honey is made, we must harvest it for us to be able to use it. In an article titled How to Harvest Honey, published on January 18th, 2016 by Hobby Farms, small-scale farmer Stephanie Stanton explained the honey harvesting process. First, you must use smoke to repel the bees away from their hive, because the bees will not like you invading. And then once the bees are gone, you must retrieve the honeycomb. Once you have the honeycomb, you have to get the wax caps off. You can either use a pick or use a knife to cut them all off. The pick would just poke holes, letting it flow out. Once it is uncapped, it goes into a honey extractor, which is a large cylindrical device that spins super quickly, and it has baskets which holds the honeycomb, which is like that, and that goes inside the honey extractor. And that spins around super quickly, which makes all the honey fly out onto the walls of the honey extractor, and then using the power of gravity, it flows down into a spigot, which then leads to a filter that catches any wax or parts of dead bees or any debris that would be in the honey. So that's all filtered out, and then it would go into a final container, which could be something like that. So now that you know how honey is made and harvested, let's go over what I showed you today. First, the bees gather the ingredients. They transport it back to their hive, where they turn it into honey. Then we harvest it. In conclusion, We use honey for many different purposes, and the price and production of it are going up yearly. It has blossomed into a huge industry, from its roots as an ancient medical treatment to being found in tombs with us or pollinating our crops. We benefit from bees greatly and their production of honey, so we should do our best to protect bees to ensure that we can continue to have them as a resource.